If you show up for the work and you don't try to kid yourself about the work, you're probably going to be okay.
So your partner coming in, and you said he brought in the institutional strategies.
Practices, yeah.
Practices. Dive into that a little bit.
So I would say really three things. He knew finance very, very well. He ran the West Coast lending office of GE Capital at one point. He ran a lot of equity and debt at Northwestern Mutual, and his MBA from Wisconsin was in real estate and finance. So he knew finance a lot more than I did. My appreciation of the subtlety of finance was, call a loan broker, get the best rate, right? And he certainly had a more refined view of debt, and all the different debt products that you can get, whether it's fixed or variable, you're using swaps, how much leverage do you want? Are you going to consider using mezzanine debt or not? Which we don't, we never have. Are you going to go IO for part of it, or is how much amortization do you want? And he was an expert at that. The other thing I would say is that he brought more institutional practices in terms of asset management. My approach to asset management was always basically as follows. I mean, in the run up to my acquaintance with Tony, as I said, I had a portfolio of probably 300 to 400 units, older buildings primarily. And my work area was insurance and claims and litigation, CapEx, contractors, maintenance and repair, dealing with permit matters with the various cities where we were, dealing with the landlord-tenant matters, and it was really much more of a special projects or problem children emphasis. Yeah, that's kind of my part of the street. And Tony really brought in an emphasis on reports. And so before Tony came in, I met with my wife once a month, she and her partner managed the apartment portfolio. And I just I shared office space with them. So I just walked through the door and go over to her desk and do the rundown every week on what's going on with the properties. And I was always focused more on special projects and hotspots. I knew she was in charge of the accounting and was doing proper reports and dealing with all the accounts payable and receivable and all the rest of it. But when Tony came in, he brought a lot more expertise and emphasis on the reports, whether it's the P&L, the balance sheet, the rent rolls, adjustments to market rent and whatnot. And so he brought that expertise, but he also brought expertise in the form of knowing how to work with institutional partners. Historically, we've done probably 15 to 20% of our volume has been JVs with institutional partners. And Tony, I've learned a lot from him in the last 21 years. And I certainly can hold my own in conversations with institutions. 21 years ago, that wouldn't have been so. And so, it's just a really good fit. And, temperament was a fit. And, the things that are important, like culture and ethics, were a fit. And consequently, we've been able to draw a lot of really outstanding people into the firm. And last year, we promoted Kurt Howcooper, who joined us in 2003. We promoted him to CEO, and he's a partner. And then we promoted 6 senior staff into partnership positions. And so I would really just say that so much of it has been about loving the work and getting to run with great people, and being honest about it, right? Being serious about the work and not kidding ourselves about things. Apartments it's a daily grind. If you're on site at any of the apartments, it may be an hourly grind. There's always going to be activity. But if you show up for the work and you don't try to kid yourself about the work, you're probably going to be okay. Some of it is about problem solving, but it's worked out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the institutional practices that came in were just creative and a in-depth knowledge of how to finance a lot of these deals.